self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are Conversation Con Artists. What's going on? I'm Mr. On Point.
And I'm Calamity Red. And today is going to be another one of our kind of special episodes. Today we're going to be talking about relationships, but we are going to be talking about relationships in the context of celebrity relationships. We'll probably do one at some point, like on basic relationships.
Just relationship stuff.
Yeah, but like today it's going to be celebrities because we know that celebrities' relationships play out very publicly, so we get to see all of the bullshit for free.
And most of us experience it.
Yeah, so it'll be stuff you can relate to.
Exactly, just not televised.
Yeah, basically. So let's just start out with the most current relationship in the news right now, which is going to be Halle Berry and her third divorce.
Halle Berry, the most beautiful girl in the world,
who cannot get it right at all. Like if she and I jokingly say this all the time. Like if Halle Berry, who is supposed to be like the most beautiful woman in the whole world, can't get it together with these men, it's like what hope does
I don't know who dictated that.
Yeah, no.
I mean, Halle Berry looked good, but she look as good as a lot of other people that look good to me. Like you don't have to put one on the top necessarily. But we do in society.
We do in society, but she is divorcing Oliver Martinez, who I think they've been married for maybe 2 or 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
0 for 3.
Huh?
0 for 3.
0 for 3. She has a son with him. She has a daughter from a previous relationship with a model. She was with Eric Benet and David Justice, who David Justice got a horrible case of I can't shut the fuck up because he decided to get on Twitter or Instagram, one of those social media outlets, to say, I didn't beat Halle. Nobody asked you. Like, nobody even thinking about you. Who was thinking about David Justice before he got out on Twitter and, like, made people start talking about it again? Like, nobody was talking to you.
Another thing he said was Halle ruins her exes.
And then Eric Benet co-signed on it. Now let me say what my issue is with Eric Benet co-signing on this. He act like we forgot that his relationship with Halle Berry ended because he had a sex addiction and had to go to therapy. So let's not act like you didn't contribute to the issues that y'all had in your relationship.
Yeah.
Like, get the hell out of here. Like, you don't need to be co-signing on shit, sir.
They need to have some seats.
Several.
I wonder how she is in a relationship. I wonder if she's controlling or...
I don't think she can
She couldn't have been controlling, like, in an abusive relationship, could she?
I don't think so. Like...
The abuser is usually the controlling person, right?
Yeah, and I think because... Oliver Martinez is very aggressive. Like, he beat the hell out of her ex because he was getting out of pocket. So I just feel like with him having that much aggression, that like acting out, I doubt that she was like the dominant one in that relationship. I don't really know what, I know we don't really know what happened with David Justice in that whole relationship. Like I said, Eric Benet had a sex addiction, so whatever that means.
Even though we know she getting divorced, we don't know much about her relationships.
No, you just know when they start and you know when they end.
She's done a very good job at keeping it contained, if that's the case.
She has, with the exception of the model, Gabrielle, whatever his last name is, Nala's dad. Mm-hmm. Let me just say, when she named her Nala, I automatically went to Lion King, but...
Where else would you go?
Like, I was like, okay.
She could not have possibly named her daughter that without thinking about Lion King. Unless she spent a significant amount of time in Africa, and that's a common African name. Maybe. And I only say that because Lion King took place in Africa.
Yeah.
But then again, it was named after people in America trying to emulate the African experience, so I don't know.
But I automatically was like, okay, Lion King. But, and that was very messy. Like we knew about like the child support issues between the two of them, and again, Oliver beat his ass, and he's a model, so that's how he makes his money, and he was not happy about that.
He shouldn't have been trying to show his ass in front of a boxer. You gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them.
It's the same thing I said about when T.I. was trying to get at fucking
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather knocked people out for a living. Sit your ass down.
I mean, unless you're consciously aware and recognize that your pride is worth getting your ass knocked out. If you know for a fact that I know I might get knocked out, but I'm a man, I would rather get knocked out trying to defend my pride versus tucking my tail between my legs and not even trying to defend it. Unless you are actually aware of that about yourself, do not stand up against somebody that's going to whoop your ass.
Never a good idea. And he stomped his ass good. He got in line after that, though. I ain't hear no more bullshit about that whole situation. He got his ass
Nothing else.
He was good after that. I don't know. I think it's unfair for people to say that Halle Berry obviously must be crazy because her third marriage has ended. Because first of all, some of you out there that have been married 6 or 7 times, and you throwing, people in glass houses do not throw stones.
And your mama better not be on her third marriage either while you talking shit about Halle Berry.
Exactly. So I don't think it's fair to base her being crazy based solely on that. Now, we had some proof. If she had pulled a Britney Spears and was like breaking windshields with an umbrella and shaving her head, I would give you that. But if you're basing it based off the fact that she done had 3 relationships that didn't work, when some of y'all jump in and out of relationships the same way that you jump in and out of draws every day, I just don't think that that's a fair estimation of what went wrong in these relationships.
Well, we doing what we do in society. We putting the burden of a successful relationship on the woman.
Which makes no sense.
Because we know that she was abused in her first relationship. We know that she was constantly cheated on in her second relationship. We don't necessarily know what happened in this relationship, but in the worst case scenario that she is the problem in the relationship, that's still once
out of 3.
But we willing to say because she been divorced 3 times, she crazy? You know what I mean?
I just don't think that that's a fair,
it's not a fair
assumption or assessment of the situation. I feel bad for her because, at least this time around, she has her kids. I think with Eric Benet and David Justice, it ended and she was kind of by herself. And so on the plus side, she has that going on, but it can't be easy for, a marriage to end. Especially with it being the third one and for it to be so highly publicized. Even with them just releasing that basic ass statement that all celebrities issue when they get in a divorce about respecting their privacy and shit. People are still really scrutinizing her now, and that has to be difficult. I can't imagine every time I turn on the TV or the computer or get on social media, it's motherfuckers talking about I must be crazy or Halle Berry didn't got a divorce the third. I can't imagine how that must feel because you're already hurting. Then that's the thing that people don't realize. Yeah, she's a celebrity, and yes, that's a part of that comes with it. But if you think about any time that you had a relationship and how sucky that felt, how you just wanted to go crawl under a rock sometime and just not be bothered, she's not afforded that same courtesy.
I think that at the point that we know that a relationship is ending, it's been over for 2 years.
Yeah.
He been living in a downstairs apartment. She been living upstairs. The middle floor was just for the kids to play in. I think they have to take that into account by now. It's okay, the relationship is over, but we got to take the media into account and how we going to do this. Yeah. So we going to do our own thing, out of the limelight. Don't let nobody get caught seeing you hold hands with somebody else. And we'll announce this once we've healed and got past our BS, and we go from there.
That would be a good idea, but we know celebrities ain't the best at making decisions. But if that is the case, then that would be...
If anybody was to do that, I would think it would be Halle Berry and how tight she done kept her relationship situations. Yeah, because
the whole Eric Benet thing, I don't even know how that came out about the sex addiction. I don't know if he did that, but she, she's been very good about keeping the details of these relationships. And as far as David Justice is concerned, you need to shut up, sir. Nobody was even thinking about you. This wasn't about you. He that person who 2 people could be having a conversation and they got to butt up and come in and say, well, I did. Nobody asked you. We wasn't even talking to you. Go have a seat over in the corner. Thank you.
He probably thinks somebody gonna come talk to him about a TV show or something.
Probably so.
I ain't no telling
this as an opportunity. Because who the fuck has been talking about David Justice?
What would he get from that? Your side of the story is not relevant anymore. You know,
you aren't relevant anymore. It's probably people listening to this who is David Justice? What did he do?
That Halle Berry first husband. That's it.
What did he do?
What did he do?
Exactly. Like, they don't even know who you are. So you need to sit down somewhere and be quiet. Stop.
He must be freshly single.
He's married with like kids. Like, he was talking. Yeah.
Well, that's even less motivation to do it. Because I hope he talked to his wife about making them comments. Because if she saw his Twitter before he told her,
oh my God, can you imagine? Like, that just turned into something completely different.
Yeah.
And speaking of people who need to shut the fuck up, I don't even know how, because this is such a convoluted. Let's see. Let's start with Sierra, Russell Wilson, and Future, and then we're going to get into Future and Black China. So, Sierra had a baby with Future.
Bad idea. Terrible
idea. It didn't work. I think they were engaged for a time. It didn't work out because he's a cheater. Who's surprised? Nigga got like 8 kids, ma'am.
Who in the entertainment industry is not a cheater?
This is true.
I mean, clearly there's a lot of people we don't have evidence to say that they are.
Yeah.
But
especially rappers, like,
I
don't know. That ended. She's now dating Russell Wilson.
Football player.
Who's a football
on my fantasy league.
I don't watch football. I knew he played football.
I don't watch football like that either. But I know he disappointed me in this fantasy league.
So when they started dating, Future had all of this shit to say about her having their son, whose name is Future. Let me just say that.
So Future has a real name. Future is his rap name, but they named his son his real name, Future.
His government name is his daddy's rap name.
I wonder what his middle name is. Like, you can't be Future Thomas.
It's like what is his? It's something stupid.
It need to be something stupid.
It is
to go with his first name, like Future Psychedelic. I don't even know their last name.
I don't know either, but. So Future got upset about her hanging around, and like people were saying she shouldn't be having their son around Russell, and here's my problem with that. Now, I am very adamant about people not just bringing any old body around their kids, because I have seen too much in my regular job of people knowing somebody for 2 days and bringing them around their kids, and then the kids being hurt in some kind of way. And then them being like, well, I didn't know. Well, of course you didn't know. You didn't really know him. I don't feel like your kid needs to meet everybody that you're just dating, right? Now, if it's going to become something serious, I can understand that more. But people that you just dated, no, I don't really feel like that's necessary. But that being said, Future, like I mentioned before, got like 7 or 8 kids or some shit. That is not an exaggeration. He has a bunch of kids. And when he was dating Sierra, he had her around his kids all the time. This same argument was not made. Nobody was like, I can't believe Future got her around his kids. He don't even really know her like that to be having her around. Nobody made that argument. But because Sierra is a woman, it's different. She shouldn't have Russell Wilson, who, by all intents and purposes, he seems like a nice guy. I mean, I don't really know nothing about him, but he seems
I think it's different. I think it's different. When you look at celebrities, you know, I think it's different than this woman that live over here in the hood who bringing, weird Thomas from down the street to her house around her kids. Like, he might be a sex offender. Like, we don't know. But I mean, I think people look at it from through that lens, you know, and I don't like it because it really invalidates Sierra's judgment. Like, we don't know how long her and Russell Wilson been talking. We don't know how much she actually have him around Russell Wilson off the cameras.
Yeah.
I mean, we've only seen a couple of pictures with them together, so that might be the only time they together. So I think it's invalidating her judgment when it comes to that, when there's no evidence to show that she's made any bad decisions with her kid.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she's made bad decisions to get him here, but, you know, that's a different story.
It is. Like, I think Future just butthurt. Future seemed like one of them dudes who, like, I don't want to be with you, but you don't need to be with nobody else either.
So we'll be in a relationship.
So we're going to be in a relationship. Yeah. I'm going to still be out here doing what I want to do, but you don't. because we together. Because that makes sense.
I just imagine a phone call with Future and one of his friends going, "Bro, you selling down for real?" "Bro, it's Sierra, man. No, I ain't selling down, but I ain't gonna let her be with nobody else."
It totally could, like, I could totally see him saying that. Like, sadly enough, I hate that. That makes me so angry. Like, if you don't want to be with somebody, that's fine. But it's selfish of you to think that you should own their happiness for the rest of their whole life. Like, she can't never talk to nobody ever again. Like, that ain't how that works. Like,
it's unfortunate, but I just don't like that. I hope he is as concerned about how many other dudes his other 7 and 8 kids around, and not just Russell Wilson being around his son because it's in the limelight. I hope it's not just the act. If he really feel that way, I hope it's not just the act. And I hope he is that concerned about all of his kids. If not, then he would just lose a little bit more respect.
I put my money on that it's because it was in the limelight. Like, I just don't imagine him being super concerned about them other kids. Like, that's just my perception. That's my own perception.
That same friend he talked to earlier. Bruh, you see Instagram? You see Sierra Instagram? He got your son.
Oh my God. And oh God.
I'm telling you, and I'm just saying, the squad will get you in trouble. The squad will make you have to make decisions that you don't want to make.
And I mean, Future want to talk all of this shit about her, but he out here still making bad decisions. Case in point, this whole situation with him and Black China. Now, if you don't know about this, and poor Black China. Black China is a stripper turned, I don't know if she's supposed to be a model. You know how they do, like, they do this and then become like, you know, models for like double XL or whatever the case may be. She has a baby with Tyga, who is dating Kylie Jenner. And this past week, or a couple of weeks ago, she tattooed Future on her hand. Very visible. And posted an Instagram picture for people to see.
Oh, a tattoo of Future on her hand.
And with lyrics from one of his songs.
She tattooed that much?
No, she tattooed his name, but the Instagram caption was lyrics from his song. Very shortly thereafter, I think it was the same day, literally, Future like tweeted out like, "I'm single as fuck," like basically separating himself from her. Basically, let's say like, this, she crazy, we not together, I don't know what she talking about, I ain't got nothing to do with that tattoo. Like, just basically separating himself from the situation. Poor Black China. Like,
and Black, is she a rapper?
No, she was
a stripper?
Turned model maybe, but like double XL kind of model, and not like runway, because she got like ass implants. Her and Amber Rose are best friends, just to give you a...
Oh, okay. I understand a little bit more now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, but I do.
Yeah, like...
How distorted is your perception of relationships that you go to get a tattoo for a person you think you're in a relationship with and find out later that day that you're not in a relationship with them? Like,
very publicly.
She skipped a whole bunch of steps between, I mean, like, it's a lot of things that's supposed to have happened. Like, she should have had a conversation. Like, did she say, "What are we?" She should have, like, that question was supposed to come, like, next in the line. Like, "What are we, Future? Like, are we in something?" He could have shut that down immediately. He could have been like, we just fucking today, you know, that's it.
Basically.
That could have been squashed. Or he would have said, you know, we might be something, but that is nothing to go get a tattoo for immediately.
And I have tattoos, so I'm a fan of tattoos. I think they're great. I think they're wonderful. My advice to anybody listening, just for your life, I don't think it's a good idea to get anybody's name tattooed on you. And the reason why I say that is because life. Like, you don't know how things are going to turn out. We talked about this. I talked about this earlier with Mr. On Point. The divorce rate is
50%.
50. It's one in two. One in two relationships.
Half of the time. This ain't gonna work out for you.
It's gonna end in divorce. Those are not odds that I want to take of having something that's gonna be on me forever. Now, yes, you can get tattoos removed, but that shit hurts worse than them going on. And as somebody who have tattoos hurt. I don't want to imagine how much it hurts to get one removed. So it's just never a good idea. That being said, if you're going to get somebody's name tattooed on you, you should probably be aware that you're with this person, preferably maybe even married to this person. But somebody that you done slept with 2 or 3 times and now you think we a thing, we're an item, I'm gonna go out and get this tattoo, not a good idea. And he embarrassed the shit out of you. He don't even have no respect for you. Like, he didn't contact you and be like, bitch, what are you doing? He got on social media to very publicly embarrass you. And then her counteraction for that was to say, oh, it was a Sharpie. Ma'am, your hand was still very red. Like, we can tell the difference between a Sharpie, somebody taking a Sharpie or writing on you, and you getting a tattoo. That is a tattoo. You should have thought it through.
She can get that fixed. She can put back to the on top of it. You know what I'm saying? What's some other albums with the word future in it? She can
or just get it completely covered up. There are some really amazing cover-up artists out here. They have TV shows where people get stupid ass tattoos and have to go to these specific tattoo artists who specialize in doing cover-up art. She can get it covered up.
I think she need to keep it. To remind herself not to do that shit again. You don't need, next time you're in a situationship with somebody, you need to look at that tattoo and say, I need to ask him, what are we?
Situationship, yes. That's exactly what she was in and didn't know it.
What are we? She need to look at that tattoo and remind that. And then she need to come up in her head with a time frame in which if you gotta get a tattoo on somebody, how long you have to be with that person to get one.
Yeah.
I don't have any tattoos. I'm too indecisive to get a tattoo. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll get one in the future. I don't know. Maybe kids or a wife or something will make me get tattoos. But I'm not averse to them. I mean, I would get one. But I mean, it is I just don't have none now.
I love tattoos. I have 5. I want to get a sleeve. I'm working on or gonna work on a sleeve on my left arm. So I like tattoos, but I think you just have to be very careful about what you get. And somebody's name is never a good idea. Actually, tattoo artists jokingly will tell you that's the beginning of the end of a relationship. When they tattoo names of people on, that's the beginning of the end usually. So, and speaking of tattoos and bad ideas, because I actually forgot about this aspect of this particular couple, or I don't even know if they're still a couple at this point or not. I don't know if you watch Love and Hip Hop Hollywood on
Absolutely
VH1.
Not.
Well,
no, I will not.
This season, they have done their first gay couple. Because, they just needed to jump on the bandwagon, I guess. And they're Miles and Milan.
Milan?
Yes.
Like the Disney movie?
Not Mulan. Milan, like the city in Italy.
Like the city, okay.
Milan is outwardly gay. He supposedly does something with music in California somewhere. Miles is a rapper. And I use that term loosely. And he is not out, which doesn't bode well for him doing this show. But so he is not out, and he's dating a woman who doesn't know that he likes men. So the beginning of the season starts with him sleeping with Milan And also giving this woman hope. Like, she's like, what's going on? You're never around. And he's like, I just need some time. So basically, he just bullshitted her. Instead of being like, I don't want to be with you anymore, he's giving her hope that they're going to, like, pick up this relationship at some point. Now, while she's on the one end, like, you know, where are you? You're never around. Milan is on the other end saying, I want us to go out together in public because Miles isn't out, so he don't want to be seen anywhere. So he, you know, I want to go out together in public. I want you to move in. Like, I want us to, like, be together. And Miles ain't ready for that.
Okay. So, what's the difference between not being out and down low?
Not being out is people who, they're just not ready to tell people that they're gay or that what their preference is. Mm-hmm. Down low men don't think that they're gay or bisexual or anything. Oh, okay. They just happen to like sleeping with men. Okay. Is how they. So the acknowledgement is the difference in those two situations. In my mind, that's how I perceive it to be. That it's the difference between them not being honest with themselves. Like, people who aren't out yet aren't confused about, like, you know, they just aren't ready to tell the world because of the person, you know, the issues that come with that. Down low, they're not going, it ain't that I'm not ready yet, it's that it ain't nothing for me to tell. Yeah. So Miles, Milan is all upset because he wants them to be, like, you know, an actual couple. So Miles's answer to this is to invite Milan out for dinner in a restaurant. It seemed like wasn't nobody really in there anyway. Like, it seemed like he picked some, like, out the way place. But he also got a tattoo of 2 M's on his arm for Miles and Milan. Oh my God. To show that he's committed to this relationship. Her name don't begin with an M, do it? No. I forgot. It's Amber or something like that. I forget. It could be like, this M is for the middle letter of your first name. That ain't gonna work. Oh yeah, it probably won't work. So then, and I've stopped watching. I read recaps on Very Smart Brothers, but like I don't really watch it anymore because it just got to be too much. But so Amber, I think that's her name. Amber is still on him about, we need to work on this, we need to work on this. He's still sneaking around seeing her. He's involved with her kid, like he is like a stand-in father for her kid. Mm-hmm. He goes to see a therapist, talks to the therapist about his issues, and decides to have Amber come into the therapy session. Now, Amber thinks she's coming into this therapy session to work on their relationship. But what ends up happening is he comes out to her in this session. She like goes out and has like a Maury moment. You know how when they say he's not the father, how the women run out screaming and throw themselves on the ground. She ran outside of the therapist's office and threw herself on the ground screaming. And now, anybody who watches this show has, or if you Google Miles from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, I'm not surprised that he likes men. Like, I'm just not, like, it doesn't surprise me. And it doesn't seem like it surprised anybody else. Because when Amber told her friends and family about it, they was basically like, oh, we knew he was gay. Oh, we knew. Okay. I see. You see it? Yeah. I mean, not to have a stereotypical version of a gay person in my head, but I mean, it's one of those things where you see some signs and like, it reinforces them when you find out, you know. Basically. So now I don't know where he stands with Milan. I think in real time, I don't think on the show, but I think in real life they're not together anymore. But that's just another example of, now you got these 2 M's on your shoulder. Like, you are not ready to commit to this person. You're not even ready to be who you are and be honest with yourself. But you're going to go get a tattoo. Like, but he can easily get that changed to the M&M's logo and just really love M&M's. Like, from this point on in the rest of your life, you got to choose M&M's at the store. If somebody asks you about your tattoo, be like, you got to have a bag of M&M's to pull out your pocket and be like, M&M, bitch. Well, what works for his favor is that his arms like covered in tattoos, so it kind of blends in with the background. Like it's not going to be something that would be as noticeable as like at least he didn't get Milan's name on him. He got their initial, so that's I guess it's better. But we all know what it stands for because you've been on TV now, so it's like I guess it has the same effect. But that whole situation, there are not many things that I would like get angry enough to end up in prison about. Me marrying somebody or like being with somebody for a substantial amount of time and finding out later that their preference is actually men and they knew it and they were using me to try to like whatever the fuck the case may be, they will have to die. Like that will be the only answer. That will be the only acceptable move. They will have to die. And this is why. It's not that I have anything against homosexuals or anything like that. It's don't bring me into your confusion, right? If you're not sure about who you are, if you're still like trying to figure that out, figure that shit out. But don't commit to me and this life together and we have kids and shit, and then you want to like be yourself. Like, no, that's not how that works. Like, you're gonna have to die. I'm gonna kill you.
You know, I was thinking of like, what if the shoe was on the other foot? You know, what if, you know, I was with a girl and she was singing around with a girl, and I realized that's Drew Hill in my bed video.
It is.
It's exactly that video.
It is exactly.
I'm like, that's been done.
It has been done.
It hasn't been done in that context. But.
Well, but like I watch. One of my guilty pleasures is the ID channel. I watch, which makes me very suspicious of everybody. And I scare myself often watching it, but it's so good. There's a lot of like episodes of different shows where like that has happened, where women have gotten involved with other women. While I saw one where like she started this relationship with this woman, and together they killed her husband. And like got rid of his body. Yeah.
That is bad. I mean, I think
so they could be together.
You know, I don't think that turned out the way that they would imagine. I hope that it turned out in their head.
No, and that's the difference. I feel like it's not looked at quite the same, right? I feel like most women would agree with me in saying that, like, I don't know that they would kill the man. I will kill you. I'm just saying, like, that is the truth. I don't know that all women will commit murder, but I feel like all of them would be extremely upset about that. On the flip side, I don't know that men look at it quite the same way.
I'm sure some men do. I'm sure. But not me. I wouldn't be happy. Like an important aspect. A relationship with me is, you know, fidelity and faithfulness. It's not that I explode if you do it. To me, it's an indicator that you're not ready to be in that relationship. And so I would rather you relay that you don't want to be in a relationship rather than cheat, rather than be with somebody else. So, you know, cheating on me just means you don't want to be in this relationship. We don't have to continue this relationship. I wish you would have told me in a better way that you weren't ready to commit to this relationship. But since this is what we have, we are no longer in a relationship. You know, that's kind of how I look at the situation.
The extremeness of it is what, because like I've been cheated on, nobody's died, right? I've never served prison time for murdering anybody, and I have been cheated on. So I think it's just the idea that you cheated on me, I got to deal with that, and you also been lying to my face for however long we've been together. We based our entire life on this lie that you told me and that you've been telling yourself. Or maybe you haven't been telling yourself that, but maybe you thought that this was gonna like either fix it, or you thought that this was just a better life for you to have, or whatever the case may be. I just don't feel like you bring other people into your confusion or your mess. And that's anything. That's not just if you are questioning your sexuality. That's any issue that you have that's an issue that's just with you. You need to figure that shit out before you start bringing other people into your life. Like, you don't bring people into your mess. Like, you just don't do that.
And there's a difference in bringing them into other messes versus one that dictates that you will not be with that person after that.
Yeah.
You know, like, If you bring some people into a baby mama or a baby daddy issue,
Lord.
I mean, that's different.
Yeah.
But when you bring them in and say, well, my sexuality might not be one that, you know, would keep us together, that's a different situation.
That's tough.
You know, or if, you know, if you bring somebody into a situation in which, you know, well, I'm pinning a court case on a murder trial and I might get sent away for the next, you know, 40 years. Like, there are certain situations that just don't bring people into that shit without them having the option to decide whether they want to be in it or not.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing. And there are women, I personally I don't think I would be capable of dating like a bisexual man. My own personal preference, that's just how I am. But there are women who don't care. So, like, again, give people the option in the beginning to say yay or nay to whatever the case may be, but you forcing me, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole different situation. Like, you just have to make better choices, good choices, and poor Miles did not make good choices.
Bad choices. Very bad choices.
And continuing with the theme of bad choices, Toya and Memphis. However.
It's hard to pronounce the T. And you want to say Memphis because, you know.
There. Like, you feel like it should be, yeah, but I don't know.
Well, misfits.
So, if you know, Toya is Lil Wayne, and I hate to use.
Baby mama?
Yeah.
You don't like that term?
The mother of his child.
What, you don't like the term baby mama?
It has such a negative, I mean, it just has such a negative, like, connotation to it. Right. Plus, she's much more than that. Like, I feel like she's made, like, a little bit of a name for herself, separate from him. But she is Lil Wayne's, the mother of their daughter. And Memphis is her current husband. And Memphis is popular and famous because K. Michelle said he beat her ass and stole her money when they dated, and she warned Toya about marrying him and being with him and that he was this terrible, awful person. It came out, I just actually saw this on my feed today, that Toya apparently gives him 8 hall passes a year to do whatever he likes to do and it not count against him.
Okay.
What the fuck? Like,
I don't know. This just goes back into my idea that everybody in the entertainment industry, especially like rappers and R&B, they gotta cheat. They have to. Like, I try not to adhere to extremes. So I do want to say that I imagine there's a small percentage of them that exist that is faithful to whatever relationship they be in at the time. But I'm just not inclined to believe that whether you know about it or not, or whether you got a hall pass or not, that all these dudes are cheating. I mean, she probably would have had to give Lil Wayne 250 hall passes a year. Probably why the relationship didn't work out.
Okay. That to me says more about her than it does about him. Because there has to be a level of self-respect that isn't gonna allow. You're not getting no fucking hall pass. If you want to go out here and sleep with other people, we obviously don't need to be together so that you can be free to do that. You're not gonna live in my house though and do that, and I know about it. I won't ever say that nobody will ever cheat on me because let's face it, that shit isn't guaranteed. I will say you're not gonna knowingly cheat on me. I'm gonna be cool with it. That's not gonna work. And I just don't understand how you think that you give him these 8 hall passes and they're going to be isolated incidents and he's not going to see these women outside of these 8 times that you've given him this free reign to do it. Like, you open up that door and the door is fucking open. You can't then just, it ain't going to be this revolving, swinging door that closes in and out. Like, you gave him permission now. You just told him you cool with it under these parameters.
I'm cool with it 8 days. You can't go back from that. You can't say I'm not cool with it anymore. You know?
Nope.
But that's one of them situations where somebody gonna mishandle it. The situation.
And what is crazy to me, or not crazy, it's sad. Anytime I've seen this, because Monique had the same. That it came out that she had an open relationship with her husband. It's one-sided, right? She didn't say we both have 8 hall passes a year. This nigga got 8 hall passes a year. She doesn't. And you know why? Because men are not going to allow that shit to happen. They're not going to sit back and be like, yeah, my girl could go and sleep with 8 men in a year and I'm going to be okay with it. They're not going to accept it.
Well, I mean, I don't think women necessarily even want that in our society. I mean, I'm sure that if a woman feel like her relationship is good, she ain't going to want that. Yeah. She's not going to want no hall pass. She'll have them and won't even use them.
The relationship ain't good though. It can't be if this is part of the parameters of the relationship.
Man, I live in the real world. So I would never accept hall passes. In my head, I'd be like, this is a trap. I'm not about to get set up like this. So I'd be like, no, baby, you are plenty. I don't need no hall passes. If I wanted to be with somebody else, I would be with somebody else. I'm with you. That's gonna win you some points.
It is.
Don't be listening to Memphis and Toya and thinking that this is gonna work out for you, gentlemen. If you live in the real world, if you're not in the entertainment world, if you can't sleep with other women and get away with it because you offer so much, then don't fall for it. I'm not falling for it.
And again, this speaks to me to like her self-esteem and how she feels about herself. Because honestly, I don't really know what the hell Memphis does. I think he's like a producer maybe in Louisiana. I don't really know. But Toya has a store. She had that show. She get money from Lil Wayne.
Yeah, Lil Wayne child support got to be 7 figures or something.
Like, it's something ridiculous, I'm sure.
Spousal support.
Because as much of an asshole as he is, they weren't never married, but as much of an asshole as Wayne is, I've always felt like he takes care of like Toya and her daughter. Like, I've never felt like he, kind of tossed them to this, or any of his. He had a bunch of kids. It seems like he take care of his kid. He make them and take care of them. So I guess that's fine. But so she don't need him financially. Like, she's not sticking around or putting up with this or giving him hall passes because, well, I need, So what is it that you are getting back by giving him this? What is your return on this?
This might be her solution to past failed relationships. If she feel like she been cheated on so much in them and she couldn't do nothing about it.
You can't do something about it. Get the fuck out of my house.
Well, if you're not going to do nothing about it, you got to come up with a solution to it if it happened next time. And her solution might be like, well, if I give them a little bit, maybe it'll keep it from happening as much as it has been in the past. Shit. I mean, it's still kind of flawed logic.
It is. Like, just be with somebody else. And you have, she has access to, like, people I'll never see in my life because the circles that she runs in replaced him. Like, what are you doing? Like, that, I read that and I just rolled my eyes so hard that I didn't think they were going to roll back right. I was just like, what is wrong with you? That this is like your go-to. I'm going to give him 8 hall passes. Like, hey, did you see the movie Hall Pass? That shit didn't even work out for them. Did you see the movie?
It worked out for the women better than it worked out for the men. That wasn't even the plan.
Exactly. It just doesn't work. Like, again, it's not going to be 8 isolated incidents. You gave him permission. You opened that door. The door is now open. And that's just what it's going to be. Like, it's just not going to work out. You just have to be careful about what you're doing in these relationships and be careful about who you getting into relationships with. Because while I think it has come out since that Memphis didn't in fact beat K. Michelle the way she said he did, he's an asshole. Like, he obviously is an asshole. Even without that, he's just an ass. You just have to be careful about like who you attach yourself to. Like Nicki Minaj attaching herself to Meek Mill. And people might disagree with me, but I can't stand Meek Mill's ass. I don't like his music, and I think he's a whiny gangster rapper.
I don't listen to Meek Mill's music. I had this phase in high school where I was listening to a lot of mixed freestyles and battles and all of that jazz. Cassidy, Automotive Philly Cat. So when that's what I know Meek from, and so it really surprised me to not have nothing to say to Drake. I mean, that's surprising. Like, supposedly he's standing on the corner coming up with hot fire off the top of his dome. Hot enough to be invited to the mainstream rap world. So it really, really shocked me that He ain't got nothing to say about Drake.
He got drugged.
He got slammed.
And
he got dunked on, posterized.
And he won't let us forget about it. That's the thing. Like, shut up, Meek. Like, it happened. Make your music, do your concerts, sleep with Nicki, move on with your life. He can't, though. He in the news every other week, beefing with somebody else on Twitter. First of all, he need to turn his Twitter account over to like his publicist, or like he don't need to get on there anymore because he just had this whole thing with Wale and claiming that he ain't part of Maybach no more. Then Ross got on Twitter talking about my Maybach, bro. Like, sir. Then he like during when it was Drake's birthday, when Hotline Bling, the video first came out with Drake dancing, he got did a show and was dissing Drake for dancing in the video and all of this shit. And then fans of Drake came on Meek Mill's, I don't know if it was Instagram or Twitter, say, happy birthday, Drake. Like, just fucking with him. And the reason why people keep doing that is because you won't let it die. Just don't talk about Drake. Don't talk about Wale. Just make your music and shut up. Like, and so all of that being said, I don't know how Nicki, I feel like Nicki is still with him, and I could be wrong. I feel like when all of that shit happened with Drake, everybody was like, oh, Nicki gonna leave his ass. Nicki ain't finna rock with him no more after that. I feel like she stayed with him out of spite.
Out of spite, the people who thought that she was gonna leave him? I don't know. Is that really spite?
Well, you said, I would show y'all, you say I'm gonna leave. I'm not for that. I'm gonna stick around.
That's so irrational,
well,
if that's the
it's
case.
Nicki Minaj, though.
What has Nicki Minaj done that was stupid? I mean, she got sense.
She does for the most. I think I'm just all of these characters that she does when she does her music. I'm not a fan of hers either, but
she got some songs.
She got
with Eminem.
Yeah.
Boy, that song's good. I like that.
Like, I don't see them going the distance just because she does. I will give when after she calmed down and stopped doing all of that Barbie shit and all of the makeup and going way too over the top, like start dressing regularly, I start having more respect for her at that point. And I feel like she does have more sense than he does, and he's so irrational and emotional and I just don't see that working out. Like, they just bought a house, so they moving forward, but
buying a house for them is different than buying a house for two people in reality, in the real world. I mean, you got to put up your whole life to get a house in this situation. But then you're like, well, I'm going to go to my house in California then, if you want to act like that.
That's true.
You know, like,
that's true.
Getting a house together is way different for them than over here.
It is. I mean,
for celebrities, they got to get married for it to be real. Like, when you got money, you can do all of that.
I don't see them getting married. Like, he just, I don't know. How is there an age difference between them? Or is it maybe just seeming that way because of how he behaves? But it seems like, I feel like he's younger than she is.
Man, I feel like, I just have Meek Mill give me like a short bus kind of feeling. No offense to anybody that's on the short bus or have ever ridden the short bus, but I feel like Meek Mill would have been there with you. He just seemed a little bit slower than the rest of us. It's not that he can't function. It's just like it's something going on in his processing.
Did you see where he tried to like go toe to toe with Kevin Hart? Did you see that clip?
I didn't see that clip.
Kevin Hart has made his living cracking on people. He is 4'9". He has to be good at cracking on people because people been cracking on him his entire life about how small he is. You don't want to go joke for joke. You're a rapper, like you need to please look that up.
I'm gonna look it up. But in Meek Mill's defense, the way he got popular was coming up with hot shit off the top of his head at whoever was in front of him on a freestyle. I think supposedly a freestyle, comedy, but in a battle.
I feel like comedy is different from battle rap though, like, cause when you see it, you're gonna see Kevin Hart massacred him. Like his boys was like Meek Mill's own friends was like, laughing at him. Like,
I'm sure Kevin Hart give people disclaimers. Every time Kevin Hart get ready to roast somebody, he say, you don't want this.
he did.
He always say, I haven't seen this, but I know that Kevin Hart does. He said, you don't want this. You don't do this to yourself.
He said, Meek, you don't want this. You don't want this, man. Stick to what you know. He did. And then he proceeded to kill him. Murder. Massacred him. It was so funny. You really need to just Google Meek Mill, Kevin Hart roast or whatever. It's hilarious. Like, Meek Mill's just...
I when Meek Mill come home at the end of the day. I wonder what Nicki Minaj say. Meek, baby, have you said any shit on Twitter today? Meek, what your Instagram look like? Has Drake done anything else to you today? Or I wonder if Drake called Nicki and be like, Nicki, you know what's about to happen. I gotta go in on your boy. And she like, go ahead, he deserve it. He ain't washed the dishes last night either. I wonder how it is.
That's what I'm saying. It has to be annoying. Like, this thing, the Wale thing is the most recent one that happened. I would have been like, man, you know he is still your label mate. Why would you get on here and do that when this is something? We live in the age of Google. It don't take nothing to see if Wale had actually been removed from Maybach Music or not. Like, you sitting here running your mouth. Like, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to ruin your career?
He don't know how to use his Twitter fingers.
Oh, God.
Because they used to be trigger fingers.
He need a publicist. He need to get off of Twitter totally, or he needs a publicist who runs it for him. He don't need to tweet shit ever again because he is terrible at it. He's the worst. The absolute worst at it. Like,
yeah, that's not a power couple.
It's real, and I think
that's a player one and a player two.
It is. I think Nicki wants to be like, because, you know, she's hanging out with Beyonce. Now, y'all ain't Beyonce and Jay-Z. Y'all are light years away from them.
It ain't nobody out here gonna be no Beyonce and Jay-Z. I don't care what you say. It's gonna take a whole generation of people to go by for somebody to emerge that's like a Jay-Z and a Beyonce.
Meek is not Jay-Z.
Meek ain't Jay-Z turd.
No, he's not.
I'm sorry to put it like that, but
he don't have the business acumen. Like, he's not. So they're not gonna be that kind of a couple. And honestly, I just don't see them going the distance. I might be wrong. They might prove me wrong and be together for the next 40 years, but I find that doubtful.
Well, in 40 years, we'll come back and we'll readdress this. After 40 years of successful podcasting, with this situation. And we'll see that Meek Mill still ain't Jay-Z turd, but him and Nicki are together.
Which will be, and they done had a bunch of little kids. God, I don't even want to imagine what a kid. Okay, anyway. I think that about covers it. I mean, we could go again. There's tons of celebrity couples that do stupid shit.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people.
So we could go on for days, but I think that pretty much. And I think, like I said at the beginning, like, yeah, this is about celebrities, but some of the stuff that they do is transferable to like regular life, kinda, in a way.
I mean, just because they relationships are televised and yours are not, it don't mean that they go through anything too much more different than we go through. I mean, they just rich.
And they're held to a higher standard. Like, for whatever reason, we think that them being celebrities is going to mean that they have it all together, when in actuality, they usually have it less together because of the limelight and the spotlight and the fact that they don't live in, like, the real world. They live in this, like, celebrity bubble. So, like, real life isn't real life.
Yeah,
so much for them anymore.
I mean, a relationship that looks perfect to me, it already raises a flag. I mean,
because there is no such thing.
There's no such thing as a perfect relationship. It's only people that portray the perception of a perfect relationship through what they want you to see. Yeah. And every relationship gonna have its pitfalls, downfalls, struggles, things that you gotta deal with, and things that you gotta accept, and things that you gotta, kind of bargain on and come to whatever work for you in your relationship. Yeah. It don't matter. Every relationship, whether you rich, whether you poor, whether you speak a different language, that's just how relationship work. Different cultures, That's just how relationships work.
That's just how it works in there.
Compromise. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'd be much easier to compromise when you're rich.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would much rather have a rich bad relationship than a poor bad relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
I don't know, but that is going to be it for this episode.
You ain't got nothing else on your mind?
I think that's good. I think we've said a lot.
Exhausted everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, until we come to the next conversation.
We out.
Holla.